The prodigal son has returned. Yes, last Friday I went to an EFF conference, but I'm back, my friends. My sins have been forgiven, and I'm back to being the right wing fascist we all know and love. And speaking of fascism, the Europeans want to colonize our entire electrical system here in South Africa because they want to give $8.5 billion for South Africa to go green. Joining me is Byron from who knows where. Byron, your people want to give us a lot of money to go green. What are your thoughts?
Well, my people may be wanting to give South Africa money to go green. This is obviously in relation to a pledge that they made at COP 2026, where apparently our good friend at ESCOM, you know the one, the only whitey on the board, apparently was made a promise that if he played his cards right and he was a good boy, they would give him a load of billions to basically enable the green transition to green energy for South Africa, allowing South Africa to get off coal. And but yes, the news is my people are recolonizing South Africa through the Green Deal.
Yeah, indeed. So let's see. So they want to give us $8.5 billion. Dollars. This will be to allow some of our coal fired plants to be closed and to be repurposed to produce renewable energy. Are these the same coal-fired plants that cost us like hundreds of billions of rands 15 years ago and which are still not working correctly, like Medupi and Kusile, for example? It appears so.
It does appear so, and if you look at the news articles, it would appear that what they're basically saying is that we have some coal power stations that need closing. But in typical fashion, because South Africa lacks any form of actual leadership and we just have a bunch of globalist shills, they're obviously like, okay, well, we decolonized the place and we need to go back to our former colonial masters and ask them for a handout. So, UK, can we have some money, please? And the UK and some other first world countries have said that they would provide grants and other financing for a green deal. What that deal actually relates to and what you get for your money, no one actually knows, and that's so the devil will be in the detail.
Yeah, indeed. But you did say there's a lack of leadership here. I fully disagree with you. There is one real leader in South Africa at the moment, and that is our Minister of Energy, Gwede Mantashe, because he's on the record for saying that African countries are used as guinea pigs for energy experiments. And he is very unhappy about all of this stuff, right? He wants self determination for energy transition, and he refuses to allow rich nations to experiment with energy solutions in Africa because, well, they don't really work, especially considering the fact that Africa is responsible for what, 5% of global emissions, despite having 8 billion people.
Mm.
So there's your leadership right there, Byron.
It's very good to actually see Gwen Mantashe say this, because as much as I hate to say it, he's right, and anybody who looks at it knows he's right. South Africa is highly rich in coal, and it's very interesting now to see countries like Germany coming to South Africa saying, we will give you billions to transition to a greener energy deal for yourselves, but can you please sell us all of your coal? Now, Germany is actually producing 17% more coal power now than it was before, because obviously, Russian gas shortages and war in Ukraine and the other bullshit. They've tried all this Green Deal stuff, hasn't really worked out for them, and so they're having to return to coal. That does mean that in terms of South Africa, we are exporting a large amount of our coal to Germany. Now, isn't it really weird that they're like, oh, we see the virtues of using coal to power our economy, but you, Africa, you can't do the same. You must use this whole green bullshit that we've already tried and it didn't work. But hell, it didn't work for us. Might work for you. I mean, by the way, can we have your coal, please? So now, if you really think about it, what Gwen and Matasha is saying is very right. And he says, as an emerging market, we should actually use the resources we have, which is we've got a lot of coal. So let's have coal power stations. That's what Russia's doing. Russia's doing those kind of things. China's doing those kind of things. So why don't we use the natural minerals resources we have? Now, in order to expand the economy and grow the economy, we need a stable electric power supply. And coal would give us that. So indirectly, coal would actually allow our economy to expand, which is what Gwyneth Natasha says. So much as I hate to say it, mate, he's kind of right.
No, he's completely right. And also, if you actually like see what he actually says, he says so they're receiving 131 billion rand to shift away from coal. But how much does the coal industry actually give to South Africa? 130 billion rand. So for a billion rand difference, we're going to do away with 90,000 jobs, huge amounts of mines. A lot of towns exist solely because they are near coal mines. We're going to do away with all of that for an extra billion rand from England and France and Germany. That doesn't seem like a very good deal. And he's absolutely right. It is not a good deal whatsoever. But unfortunately for him, the cabinet did not agree with Gwede Mantashe, and therefore the cabinet became WEF stooges, globalist bastards, and they approved this $8.5 billion loan to move away from coal in South Africa. So you see, the one time we get leadership, Byron, it gets taken away from us through democracy. How annoying.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I did reach out to Greta Natasha's press office and did ask for an interview with them on this. Just so you guys can see, we do actually try and interview the ANC. And lo and behold, I sent out 4 emails. 3 of them were returned as being undelivered because the email addresses no longer work. No doubt somebody didn't pay the suppliers and so it got turned off. And one of them just went into the ether and we just didn't get a response. So, I don't know. Natasha, if you're watching, give us a call, please. We'd like to speak to you about this.
Yeah,
But
sincerely, we would, yeah.
yeah, we really would. But it's really interesting to actually see that every time an African leader, regardless of whether they're white, black, Indian, or colored, whenever any African leader actually stands up for their own values and stands up for the, should we say, the interests of the people that they represent, in other words, South Africans or Zimbabweans or whatever, they quickly get shot down, huh? And all the, should we say, as you very rightly pointed out, the WF stooges in charge just follow the globalist type agenda, and it wouldn't really serve the globalists for us to kind of use the resources that we have, even though we've got this massive amount of coal in the country. That would allow us to improve our electric supply. We could still be one of the cheapest electricities in the world. The carbon emissions out of them would be almost negligible. We can't do it, and we're stopped to by people that have zero interest in South Africa. They don't live here. Some of them I doubt have ever even been here, but lo and behold, they're going to tell us what to do. And if you think about it, it kind of makes sense. And the reason they want to use us as a guinea pig is because our electric supply is fucked.
Mm.
And it is a good example of, well, let's try it. Worst case scenario, it doesn't work. And then all we do is just say, well, the energy supply was fucked anyway. So what did you expect? But if it does work, you get to go, oh, look, it was all because of us. We gave all this green energy bullcrap, and now obviously you can power your place. I know where my money is, as I know where yours is, and that is this ain't gonna work, mate. We're just gonna land up in more debt with probably more requirements to pay loans and interest to third party countries, and it's just not gonna work, mate.
Yeah. And I bet you quite a bit of money that this won't solve load shedding. It won't solve the capacity issue. It won't solve the myriad of things that the ANC has screwed up. When we say Gwede Mantashe is the leader, he's only a leader in this particular scenario. Like, he's still part of the oligarchy. We don't like him. But in this case, he is correct. And he is responsible for some of the stuff that we are dealing with today in South Africa, like the load shedding and the blackouts. But in terms of solving that, he is correct. In terms of the EU solving it, they are incorrect. And that's why we like him in this particular instance. So there you go. The morning shot recommendation of the day is, yeah, Gwede Mantashe is pretty cool, man. Come join us on the show. That'll be wonderful.
Yeah, and I got to just end this off by reminding the Europeans of something that they don't really seem to understand. Guys, you can come up with all your loan agreements you want to Africa, but if you ever dealt with South African government, you ain't going to get paid, mate. You can have whatever interest rate you want and whatever repayment term. They ain't paying you. The check will be in the post. You know the one. The post that never gets delivered.
Indeed. And with that, thank you for watching, everyone. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow. Have a good one. Cheers.
Right.